is the True View angle with respect to you, 12, and he got an elbow down. Maybe we'll be seeing him on Bow Drag Swag next week. Devontae, a ridiculous football player. Speaking of that, Nick Mullins. Is he in the game yet? Is it Mullins time? You bet it is. Southern Miss broke Brett Favre's records, down 7-3, though. And it's deflected, or maybe it was just altered like hockey style, and it is picked off by Raven Green. What a name, Raven Green. How does Baltimore not get this guy? Raven Green, his last name is Green. I guess it works for the Packers, too, and so does this. That's the big dog. That's Mercedes Lewis. If you watched the game, you heard all the Packers were barking in the end zone because they call Mercedes the big dog. It's a good nickname. It's fitting, and that's a gentlemanly handshake with his QB1. Already 14-3 now. Let's get cooking. Everybody say it. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, a show favorite here on Good Morning Football. Had a tough drop earlier and got a mean glare from Rodgers, but you can't drop that one. A nice confidence build. Look at that. There you go. That's Rodgers with his offensive tackle. They've moved all the linemen around. They've had their share of stuff to deal with, too. Third quarter now, 21-3. The route is on. Can we just talk about Davante Adams for a second? Dink. Tightrope, tightrope, tightrope. Philippe Petit. No, he fell. That's okay. Still a monstrous night for him. He was over 170 yards receiving. And look at this. Marquez Valdes again. A red zone touchdown. Marquez, normally known just being a straight line runner and a burner. That was big. Look at this. This says a lot right here. It's always about confidence and chemistry with the rest of those receivers not named Davante. For Davante, it's just about dominance. The Packers win in a game that was really never competitive. I think the MVPs were Buck and Aikman just talking shop for what seemed like hours, 34-17. Aaron Rodgers afterwards, a very businesslike, saying, listen, nobody's feeling sorry for anybody in this league.
No one's feeling sorry for anybody in this league. That's the way it goes. Nobody's feeling sorry for us when we're dealing with our injuries. And, you just have to be, you have to be a next man up mentality. So that's the NFL in 2020. Obviously, they've got hit with the injury bug a lot more than you usually see. But it's still football. It still feels great to win. It feels good to be 6-2 at the halfway point, first in the division.
Aaron Rodgers is happy they're straight. He's right. I mean, the Niners were a shell of themselves. They were short-handed, but it was a dominant win. They were as sharp as they could be on both sides of the ball. What's your takeaway from last night?
Yeah, look, that Niners team that played the Packers in the NFC Championship game was a totally different outfit than the one we saw last night. At one point in the game, Buck and Aikman had an incredible stat that not a single skill position player, including the quarterback, took even a snap in the NFC Championship game last year. So here's the shell of a team. And I don't know, Rodgers to me put on a clinic and the numbers will tell the story, but it's the nuance and the stuff that Rodgers does that doesn't show up in the box score that blows me away when he's in these primetime games and you get a chance to watch him. It's a 3rd and 5 in this game. It's early on. And Rodgers brings everyone out and says, wait a second, look at 95 up top on the bottom here, Contavious Street. He didn't get off the field on time. All right, let's get a free play. It's an interception. Doesn't matter. He already got the first down because Rodgers sees 95 hadn't gotten off the field in time. And when you have all these injuries to a team, you need to take advantage of players who are not familiar with game situations. That's what Rodgers did. And then the touchdown pass to Mercedes Lewis is going to get overlooked in all the Davante Adams talk. But look at this thing, the draw of the design. We said it yesterday on the show. Who's going to have the more creative game plan? Gosh, I don't know what Kyle Shanahan could have done with the talent they had out there. But Rodgers going to Adams, and then finding Valdes-Scantling and Mercedes Lewis when the touchdowns were needed. That is the creative game plan. It's pound you with 17, give it to Aaron Jones, 33, and then hit you with 83 and 89, and Swerve Irvin, who had a good game. Like, this Packers offense came out to play. The numbers tell the story, but Rodgers, to me, drawing guys off sides, finding other players when needed, and then the demeanor the entire time, either smiling or just a gentleman's handshake for a dog in the end zone after he scores and a good bark afterwards. Packers rolled as they should. Good teams do that to teams like the Niners were last night.
You're right.
That's right. Rodgers was sharp. He was sharp physically. He was also sharp intellectually. He can't help who's on the schedule. He also can't help what another team is going through, like the 49ers. We know that the 49ers are dealing with a lot. We felt bad for him, but Rodgers didn't, as he shouldn't. But what he could help is help the confidence of the complementary players. We know that Davante Adams went off. The 10 catches, $170, but the other guys on the roster, The other receivers and pass catchers, they caught the other 15 balls. And that's what they needed. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a guy that we see have some highs and then some lows. That's kind of like what this game was for him. Early in the game, you'll see right here, Rodgers steps up, does a little jump pass, Marquez Valdez-Scantling on a drive route, and he just drops it. And Aaron Rodgers was looking at him afterwards, and you'll see it right here. It's in his hands. He wanted to turn upfield. I've been there. I've done that. Rodgers gave him a strong glare, looked at him, and was like, come on, buddy. Come on, I need you. So what does he do? He goes back to him later on in the game. And that's what you need to do. As a wide receiver, I have been there. I have dropped a rock, lowered my head. I'm sitting there pouting, sulking, feeling bad for myself. Quarterback's come to me, pats me on the chest, says, hey, get your mind right. I'm coming right back to you. And that's what he did. Marquez Valdez-Scantling scored 2 touchdowns later in that game. So what does that do? Is it important that you scored against the 49ers? Not really. It's important that their confidence is up. Not Devontae. We know Devontae and Aaron Rodgers will be all right. I'm talking about everybody else. Because you know who's going to help this team win in the postseason? Not Devontae Adams, not Aaron Rodgers. The complementary pieces. And they did last night.
You're absolutely right. That glare that Rodgers was doing has become almost signature. He did one to Jay Sternberger earlier in the league, early in the season, walking all the way off the field. If you listen to a lot of radio or you listen to podcasts, you know that feeling of you've arrived at your destination, the grocery store or work, you're sitting in a parking spot, but you can't get out of the car until you finish listening to the interview or you finish listening to whatever it is. That was last night watching this game, watching Davante Adams work. It was a terrible game. It was over after about 10 minutes. You did not want to turn it off because you did not want to miss 12-17. What I learned last night, this is the best combination in the game. I don't think it's close. This might be the best tandem in sports right now. That's a 4th and inches in which Davante was covered perfectly. They're all over him. Look at where the pass goes. Literally gets his glove ripped off by the coverage. I've never seen that before. The Niners know this play is coming. Then watch his glove. He pulls the glove off of his hand, and they still complete it. That's not just talent. That's not just, that is, and so is this. Chemistry. After this play in which Davante ran out of bounds, Aaron Andrews asked Rodgers afterwards, so I saw you were busting his chops about going out of bounds. And Rodgers said, no, I was apologizing. The pass should have been a couple more inches to the right, and I would have kept him in bounds, and he would have scored a touchdown. That is crazy. A lot of great tandems in the league. Kyler and DeAndre have total potential. They're very young right now in their relationship. Russ and DK have the talent, but nowhere near the chemistry that those guys have who have played together now for, I think it's 6 or 7 years. It is reaching beyond sports. I don't want to have any blasphemy here in the 7A, but it is reaching the Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara level of chemistry. That's how good it is. It's amazing to watch.
Watch out. I love that. Kyle, I'm going to throw it right back to you. We're all the teams that were really passionate, but I feel like you are really passionate about this Packers team. You know their potential. You want to see them go far. And I give you a lot of credit for having reservations about them and being able to point them out here on our show. After last night, is it, oh, they beat a shorthanded shell of themselves team, or does it change how you feel at all about what the Packers could do later on this season? We're not going to see them really take anybody else that's in contention until the Bears. I think they've got the Jags in Week 10. How do you feel about them now?
I wish it could change a lot. It doesn't change much. In fact, Rodgers, the first thing he said after the game, I mean, really, almost his opening comments were like, this wasn't the same Niners team we played last. We know that this team was unbelievably decimated, unlike I've ever seen. They put on a good show. They made a couple of big catches. But no, as far as what they can do in January against the Bucs or Saints or one of those teams, it does not. I personally, guys, I know the expression is no cap, but Nate, I don't know if I can go any further in this program without addressing what is sitting on your head right now. I mean, I don't think we can get past the 7A. What do you got, Nate?
He's protected.
Well, listen, this is just a normal hat without the bill.
No, it's not.
I have, from the back, it looks like I have a hat on, but from the front, it's just a cap. So, listen, I got to put on something that people don't wear, and this is something that I saw. What's up, Kyle? You know, just because your head can't fit something like this, you don't have to talk about my hat.
You're right.
Oh.
Hey, let me see that again. Show me the back here. What is it? Nate?
Right there.
Let me see this. It's a hat without a bill. Yep.
A hat without a bill.
Some fashion.
Yeah.